Hello everyone, welcome to Thursday's PE lesson. We are in week 4, year 3 of gymnastics. So this is kind of the ending of our little sequence of lessons on gymnastics, and we're going to be putting all the learning that we've learned over the last few weeks together into today's lesson. But before we start any lesson, 2 things that's really important before we begin. Make sure that you have enough space. So we are going to be doing some rolling, some jumping, and some holding different shapes today. So again, a big step forwards, back, left and right, so you've got enough space around you to get yourselves in safe space. And also making sure that you are wearing comfortable kit, shorts and t-shirt if you're outdoors on a warm day like today, and make sure you've got trainers on. Indoors, make sure that you're wearing comfortable, loose fitting clothes as well, because you're going to be creating lots of different shapes with your bodies, movements, jumps and rolls, so make sure that it is flexible. So pause the video now, make sure that you've got enough space around you, get yourself into the correct kit, and I'll see you back here as soon as you're ready. Okay, welcome back. So it's good to see you're all in the correct kit and you've got enough space around you. So just leading on from what I finished last lesson on was a challenge question, and my question was, what do we call it when we move from one movement to another? And that word is transition. So that's something that we're going to be focusing on today. But very well done to everyone who emailed me that in. I'm sure I've replied to your emails and awarded you class charts points as well. So when we move from one shape to another, we call that a transition. And it's really important so we have smooth transitions. Okay, something that we're going to be focusing on today. Starting from our warm-up. So the warm-up for today, similar to last week's, but I want you to move around your space as different animals. Now I showed you 4 animals last week. Use those animals or come up with your own animals and movements today. But a slight change, I'm going to suddenly call out a letter. As soon as you hear that letter, I want you to jump out of your animal position and make that letter with your body. I'll show you a quick example. So I'm going to start off by moving as a bear. Doing a bear crawl, different directions. And if I shout out the letter I, stood up and I'm holding the position I, so hold it for 3 seconds and then move back into your animal. So I'm going to go back into frog today. Copy me if you'd like, or start in a moment. Letter P. Slightly trickier, hold that P really stiff for 3 seconds and then move back into your animals. So 4 animals: bear, frog, kangaroo, or a snake. Okay, so in a moment start that, listen out for the letter, and then stand up and make that letter with your bodies. Okay, animal shapes then, off you go. Well done, making sure you're nice and smooth, whatever your movements are, whether it's a bear, snake, frog, dog, cat, some of you. Letter T. Stand up and hold in the letter T position, nice and stiff. Well done, and go back into your animal positions, moving around your floor or your space wherever you can. Well done. The letter L. Sit down on the floor for that one, or arms out. 3 seconds, well done, and moving back into your animals. Make sure you're going left, right, try not to bump into anything around you. And the letter M. M for Monday. Well done, some of you might be looking like that. Don't know how else you might want to do an M. Well done, moving around, and the last letter is the letter Y. Well done, standing up nice and stiff. Letter Y. Very well done. Good, so relax, shake off your muscles a little bit. Well done, we should be a little bit more flexible. Gone from different positions to holding fixed positions, which we're going to be working on in today's lesson. Grab yourself a drink, get yourself ready for the main activity. I'll see you back here in a moment. Okay, well done. We're all a bit more flexible and we're ready for our main lesson today. So the main part of today's activity is to create a routine using all the shapes that we've learnt, the movements that we've learnt over the last few weeks. But the 2 main things that we need to take into account are to make sure that we have smooth transitions, moving from one shape to another. Make sure that's nice and smooth. And it's really also important when we are holding the position that our body is fixed. So not moving, not wobbling, not trembling, it's fixed in place. Arms nice and straight, whatever it is, legs straight, body is fixed, not moving. Okay, so I'm going to just recap the individual shapes, and I want you to copy along with me. So the ones that we learned way back in week 1. The first one is a front straddle, so follow along with me. Nice and simple. You start from your knees, hands down underneath your shoulders, legs out in front behind you, nice and straight, elbow straight, knee straight, thumbs down. This is fixed, so we're not wobbling to and fro, keeping my body nice and straight. Hold that for 3 seconds. The next shape was a disc shape, so copy along with me. I'm sure you know what a disc one shape is. 3 seconds, and I'm not wobbling my legs, I'm not swaying. Dish, and then into an arch shape. Copy along with me. Well done. Slightly harder, but well done. The next one was a Japana, or a front straddle shape. So legs out. Try and lower your chest to the floor, touch your toes. Hold it for 3 seconds. Well done there with the first 4. And then I introduced yesterday's lesson, which was the lever and half lever. Similar on your bum. Lever, legs nice and high, right angle, not wobbling them around, holding them nice and fixed. And half lever, just one leg. As high as you can, toes pointed. So those two. And the extra challenge shapes from yesterday were the suspended pike. So sitting, legs straight, back straight. Push down on your hands and raise your bottom off the floor. Oh, that's slightly trickier. If you can't raise your feet off the floor as well, you can keep your feet down. Suspended pike, and then the crab shape. Lots of you showed me this last week. Hold that for 3 seconds. So there are 8 different holds there. Today I want to introduce a couple of rolls as well to add into your routine. So the first one is a forward roll. Now, lots of you have done this already. Make sure it's nice soft floor around you. If you're outdoors, maybe a mat might be useful, or a towel. Keep your chin to your chest the whole way through the roll. Okay. If you can stand up at the end, brilliant. If not, don't worry. Just make sure that you land safely. Hands down in front, chin to chest, and tuck your head in. So that's your forward roll, I want you to add into the routine, but also a log roll. Lots of you who have done this, I'm sure, before. Legs straight, arms straight behind you, and roll forwards or back. Okay, so there are the extra 2 rolls I want you to add into your routine today. So using those 8 holds to make sure that your body is fixed, not wobbling to and fro, and make sure that your transitions are nice and smooth. When you move from one shape to another, you're not slapping the floor or stomping around, you're moving nice and smoothly from one shape to another. Include some of those rolls as well. And an extra challenge, if you can, in your routine, add in those jumps. So the first jump were bounce jumps. Make sure we're on our toes. And the other jump were broad jumps. These were slightly further. Add those 2 in as well. I'll put a little list of the different movements that I want you to include in your routines. That is your main task, to use those 8 holds that I showed you. I'll put a list up in a moment. Those 2 rolls, forward roll and log roll, and the 2 different jumps. So your bounces and your broad jumps. Put that into a routine. I want you to use at least one of every shape. Sometimes you might want to do 2 rolls, that's fine. 2 forward rolls or 2 bounces, that's okay. But at least one of each of those items in your routine. I'll just show you a quick version, putting together some of those elements. So I'm going to really highlight the smooth transitions as well. So I'm going to start off in this shape. Hold for 3 seconds. Into a log roll. Into suspended pike. Into straddle. That's just a little example. You see how it's nice and smooth moving from one shape to another? That's what I want you to focus on. So take your time, have a look at the next slide, take your time, look through each of those activities, maybe write down which one you want to do first and then how you're going to lead on to the next one, onto the next one, onto the next one, make a little plan of your routine. Take your time, take pictures or film your routine and email it in to me. You've seen some brilliant ones from last week. Love to see lots more this week using all of those different shapes that we've learned over the last few weeks. Email it into this address at the bottom. Take your time. If you have any questions between now and next week, do email them into me. I look forward to seeing all of your routines. Stay safe, have a great half term, have lots of rest, and see you in the new term.